Have you ever thought about, just packing a bag and exploring somewhere new, that dream trip?
Absolutely. It's a powerful idea.
But what if that dream is getting, well, a bit harder to reach? We're seeing these subtle changes, new barriers quietly rising in the world of travel.
Things like maybe an extra tax on your flight or finding it tougher to get those digital work visas.
Exactly. And you start to wonder, what do these seemingly small shifts really mean for, like, our ability to move around the globe, our freedom to explore?
That's precisely what we're digging into today. This deep dive is all about this growing trend, tourist taxes, stricter travel rules.
And we're drawing heavily on some specific analysis here.
Yes, mainly from Dmitrii Gorbatenko's logbook. He
Yeah.
wrote a really compelling piece called Tourists Tax, A Step Towards the Middle Ages.
Provocative title.
It is. And our mission here isn't just about the extra cost in your pocket. It's about trying to genuinely understand what these changes might be signaling.
Signaling about what? Our global systems, future opportunities.
Exactly. For all of us, really. What does it mean long term?
When I first read about these travel taxes, I thought, okay, it's annoying, but maybe just a minor thing.
A cost of doing business, perhaps.
Sort of. But looking at this source, Gorbatenko's analysis, it really hit me that it might connect to something much bigger.
It makes you question the direction things are heading, doesn't it?
It does. Are we genuinely moving backward? Less access, less freedom to explore, maybe towards what the source calls a new Middle Ages of movement.
That's the core question raised.
Okay, so let's dive in. Let's uncover what this analysis reveals. Where do we first see these changes really hitting us? Our wallets, our plans.
Well, the logbook points directly at the spread of new fees. They seem to be popping up everywhere.
Like where specifically?
You see them added onto hotel stays, sometimes right at airport arrivals. It's becoming quite common.
Right. And the official reason, the government line, is usually what? Funding local stuff.
That's the common claim, yeah. Funding local projects, maybe improving infrastructure or supporting conservation efforts.
Which, on the surface, sounds pretty reasonable, right? Sensible use of funds.
It can sound that way. But what's really insightful here is the counter-argument, the logbook details, from critics.
Okay, what are they saying?
They see these taxes as, well, much more than just fees. They think it represents a kind of fundamental shift.
A shift in how governments view tourism.
Precisely. Moving it away from, say, cultural exchange and seeing it more as just a revenue stream, it suggests maybe a deprioritization of those long-term visitor relationships.
So less welcoming.
Potentially. The source goes pretty far, actually. It highlights concerns that some nations might start seeing tourists and even expats more like cash cows.
Ouch. Not exactly valued contributors then.
Not in that view, no. And the worry is this could lead to places feeling less welcoming, maybe even unstable in the long run.
And the source mentions boycotts.
It does. It brings up calls for boycotts, basically challenging travelers to, take their money elsewhere if they don't feel valued.
But this isn't just about the fee itself, is it? The logbook seems to argue it points to something much deeper, a critique of the whole system.
Exactly. It really gets into this core belief held by some that governments and their tax systems generally are fundamentally flawed, right at the core.
Okay, flawed how? What does it mean to suggest authorities aren't really serving the people, but rather, what did the source call it? A greedy elite.
Yeah, that's the term used. This view, it's quite extreme, obviously, but it reflects a deep disillusionment.
Disillusionment with traditional government.
Yes, suggesting a belief that these top-down systems just inherently end up benefiting a select few, not the whole collective.
And how does this connect back to travel taxes?
Well, if you take that perspective, which the logbook presents, it even includes the radical argument that maybe all taxes should be abolished.
Wow, abolish all taxes.
Because in this view, they don't truly reflect individual needs or benefit everyone fairly. It's a very critical stance.
And this ties into luxury tourism. How does that fit?
Directly. The source points out this contrast. Huge resources are being poured into attracting a very small number of ultra-wealthy travelers.
Okay.
While at the same time, perhaps ironically, the opportunities for the, let's say, average person to travel seem to be shrinking.
So fewer affordable options.
That's the argument. The logbook views this as completely unsustainable. It argues that for tourism to really thrive, you need more affordable, high-quality options accessible to everyone.
Not just the elite.
Exactly. And it raises that question again. Is this another step back towards that Middle Ages model where only the really privileged could travel freely?
Hmm. It's a worrying thought. And it's not just physical travel feeling this squeeze, is it? The digital world has its own issues.
Absolutely. Especially for the digital nomad community.
Right. People working remotely, traveling. What's the issue there?
The logbook shares a pretty striking reality. It says significant number of digital nomads actually earn less than $1,000 a month.
Wow, less than 1,000. That's really tough.
It's a stark figure, yeah. Especially when you think about the cost of living in many desirable locations. It makes that dream of location independence much, much harder.
It feels like a modern version of those old restrictions, doesn't
Okay.
it? Like access is dictated by wealth or connections, not just skill.
That's very much the concern raised in the source. It talks
Mhm.
about the digital marketplace maybe becoming less of a meritocracy.
Less of a meritocracy, meaning,
Meaning the idea that, the best talent automatically rises to the top, that might be eroding.
so what's happening instead?
Instead, the source suggests the really well-paying jobs, particularly in things like blogging or content creation, are increasingly tied to government-affiliated projects or even military-focused outlets.
Ah, so it's about who you know or what agenda you align with, maybe.
That's the implication, that connections, influence, maybe political alignment start playing a bigger role than just pure skill or merit.
Which makes it much harder for the average person, the independent creator or worker.
Significantly harder. Harder to get those gigs that pay enough to actually achieve financial freedom and live that nomadic life.
So that path to working from anywhere, which seems so open, is narrowing.
It seems to be, according to this analysis, becoming less accessible. Economic and digital gatekeepers are sort of appearing.
So, okay, let's try and connect the dots here. We have these new tourist taxes popping up.
Right.
We have borders maybe becoming a bit stricter, more hoops to jump through.
Yes.
And then we have this pressure on the digital economy, making it harder for independent workers,
Yeah.
like digital nomads.
A convergence of trends.
Yeah. And when you put it all together, it really does paint a rather stark picture, doesn't it?
It does. The cumulative effect, as Dmitrii Gorbatenko analyzes it in the logbook, is this feeling that we might actually be moving backward.
Piece by piece towards a more restricted world.
That's the concern. And it ties directly into these broader themes Gorbatenko explores elsewhere in his logbook.
Like what other themes?
Things like titles such as The Inequality of the Modern Financial System or A System of Inequality, How the Rich Get Richer and the Poor Get Poorer.
Okay, so focus on inequality.
Very much so. And another one, The Privileged Class, How the Modern World Was Hijacked by Untouchable Elite. It all points to this core concern.
Which is?
That travel, which maybe felt like it was becoming almost a right for many, something widely accessible,
Yeah, it did feel that way for a while.
is now slowly, perhaps surely, reverting back to being a luxury, something mainly for the privileged few.
Which really makes you question the future accessibility of, well, just experiencing the world
Mm-hmm.
and that freedom of movement we talked about.
It absolutely does.
So thinking about the listener, what does this all mean for you? The central question we've really unpacked in this deep dive is, are we genuinely heading towards a new kind of Middle Ages for travel?
Where movement, opportunity, they become restricted again.
Exactly. And if that's even partially true, what does it imply for your own hopes, your aspirations to, see the world or maybe build that location-independent life?
It's a critical question to ponder. If these trends that the logbook highlights, the taxes, the shifts in the digital economy, this potential rise of a privileged class, if they continue,
Yeah.
what kind of world are we actually building for future travelers, for remote workers down the line?
What are the long-term consequences if exploring the world or achieving digital independence really does become limited mostly to a select few?
It really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? In this increasingly connected world, which might also be becoming more restricted.
What role do we play?
Exactly. What role does individual awareness, maybe even collective action, play in trying to preserve that freedom of movement, that opportunity for everyone?